Welcome back to SnowRunner, guys, and today we are going to be having a look at the new Sentinel, which is a new vehicle coming to the game in Phase 4. Now, some of you out there may say, well, we've known about this vehicle for a little while now. Why are you just now making a video on it? Because now it's not just a blank 3D object anymore. We actually have proper textures on it now, and we also have some features in the garage that are going to be really cool to put together. And I thought that since we had a texture on it and we could really get a sense of what this thing looks like, it was definitely time to take it through some testing and see what it was capable of in a proper video. Now, after doing a little bit of a look around and walk around to the outside, I really like the way it looks. It definitely fits into the, the environment of the game really, really well, and I think it's also going to complement the new maps in Phase 4 really well. But what I also like about it is that among all of these older trucks that are from, like, some all the way back as, like, the 70s and 80s, leading up into modern trucks of today, this truck is definitely a nice modern entry into the lineup of original trucks that the developers have put into the game. And let's also take a look at the interior, because the last time you guys saw this vehicle on my channel, the interior didn't really have any textures either, and I gotta say, it looks really, really good. You can see this fully textured back seat, front seats, you can see the seat belts, the sunroof, which is open. That's really, really cool. And you can even see, like, all the little touches up there on the ceiling, the dome light. You can even see the modeled dome light switch. It's so cool. You've got the little nav screen down there, the AC controls. If I can move my dude's hands a bit, you guys can see those. Like, once I move my dude's hands, you guys can see them. And if you see just down there at the bottom of the screen, you can see that it's actually a manual, which is really cool. You know, it's not necessarily like some of the trucks in the game are auto, some of the trucks in the game are manual, and it really doesn't affect gameplay at all. But just the fact that this thing has a manual, manual gear stick with the shift pattern on top of the gear stick also modeled, that's really, really cool. Now, at this stage of the PTS, it seems as though the gauges don't actually have like working arrows. There's no arrows on the gauges, but that's something that I think that they'll address later on in the future. And let's go ahead and go through some of the customization features of it. So we've got the KR135T, the Azov AM4146, which is A+, and the Azov AM4V160, which is also a beast of an engine. Now, let's see. It says a further upgrade of a truck engine refitted to be mounted into a smaller chassis, offers impressive power output and durability, but burns through fuel at an alarming rate. Yes. So gearbox, obviously we have a pretty good range of gearboxes: stock, fine-tune, freeway, and SnowRunner. We're going to go ahead and go with the fine-tune for now, and we'll probably use the highway one a little bit later. Now, the tuned custom suspension, I really, really like this suspension, and the only thing with it is I wish it had a little bit more flex, but the height is awesome. The only thing about it is that it does kind of leave you wishing that it was a little wider, or at least that the axles were a little wider, because that might help offset the dramatic amount of top heaviness that this thing has, which I will demonstrate to you guys in just a moment. Like, do not worry about that. Now, we only have one front bumper option as of right now, but we may get more in the future. Once again, this is being filmed on the public test server, and they may add more things to this vehicle as we go on. Let's put I go back and forth with these. I wish we had more wheel options. I really do. And the interior customization, we really don't have anything on that yet. We also don't have any other paint jobs available. But at the very least, we do have this one particular design. So let's go ahead and take this thing out and see what it's like. And I'm sure that it will be getting some form of diff locker in the future, although it doesn't seem like we have one right now. And I'm sure that the trailer lineup is... Oh! Wow! So we have a hitch, but at this stage in the PTS, it looks like there really are not any trailers available for it. But again, I really wanted to showcase it with a design. So one quick second. Let's see. Wow. Okay, so... yeah, I was not mistaken when I didn't see any diff locks in there. I was like, wait, maybe I missed something. Maybe I'm just being silly. I don't know where the diff lock is. I'm sure it's hidden on one of the maps somewhere, but wow, that's wild. So let's actually see how this thing flexes. You never know. It could be impressive. It could be a little bit more impressive than we might think. All right, let's see what this thing has in terms of flex. It's got... maybe not as much as I would have liked for it to have, but it's getting there. And I think for the tuned custom suspension, like, it's not bad, but it doesn't take it very long to start pulling that rear tire off the ground. So, again, it's not necessarily the final tune, but I do wish it had more flex, especially with the amount of body roll it has. You would hope that, like, it would have the amount of flex that would be, like, the body roll kind of stinks to deal with, but it's like, if you're going to have the body roll, at least have the flex to back it up. But this has a bunch of body roll, but doesn't really have a bunch of flex. So I kind of wish it had more, but that also leaves it pretty open-ended for modders to go ahead and mess with that suspension in the future. I do love the way it looks, though. It looks really, really good, and it's kind of one of those vehicles where I could totally see it being a rival scout to, like, the Hummer, for example, but it's definitely going to need lockers before it's a rival to the Hummer. That is for dang sure. It's quick, though. Impressively so. Even with the fine-tuned gearbox, which is only a 4-speed in automatic mode, it's pretty dang quick. Oh, come on! I know it can make that hill climb. I know it can make that hill climb. The only thing with that hill climb is the fact that, like, if you don't have the speed, you're not really going to get it. Come on. There you go. There we go. You don't have to strategize if you're going to do hill climbs with this thing, which does make it very realistic. And I do, you know, I do definitely appreciate the attention to the realism, but man, does it need a locker. It needs a locker really, really bad. And I don't say that to, like, pick at the truck. I don't say that to, you know, almost like, I don't say that to be rude to the truck. I almost say that to kind of be like, I really hope that it gets a diff lock later on down the road. And, you know, the fact that it's not necessarily available as an add-on right now just means that it's something that they potentially have not added to the PTS just yet. Let's go ahead and take it through a couple more obstacles and see how it responds not only to rocks, but to mud. You guys know that mud is a huge part of testing for us, and it definitely cannot be left, you know, cannot be left undone. But I gotta say, it climbed up that rock formation a lot easier than I thought it would, even without having a locker. Whoa! This is a predicament. Okay, I was like, let's wait for it to come back down. Oh, boy. Can we back our way out of that? We almost flipped it over. Oh, wow. I'm really surprised that we did not completely tip it over. It's fast in reverse. What the heck? It's way faster in reverse than I thought it was going to be. I'm like, man, that's way faster going backwards than it has any business being, but all right. Oh. Oh, God. Yeah, I figured we were going over on that one. Although what's interesting is it seems as though the center of gravity is pretty low. I'm impressed with how low the center of gravity is. Let's see how it does in the mud with mud tires. Wow, that's not amazing. Hold on. Let me swap out those tires real quick because I'm like, that doesn't seem all that incredible. Let's swap to like an off-road compound, air quotes there. It's better in the mud with the off-road compound than it is with the mud tire compound. Well, maybe not better, but I don't really see any difference in performance between this compound labeled as off-road and the other compound labeled as mud. Now, again, I'm sure that performance would be way better, like worlds better, if this thing had a locker, but once again, we don't really have the option to test it with a locker just yet. Let's see, just out of, like, my sheer curiosity, let's see. What about all-terrain? All-terrain is probably not going to be that good in the mud, but... Oh, right, I forgot I had fine-tune in it. I was like, boy, why are you going backwards? Okay, so that's mud lane number 1, and you guys can see the way it's performing with the all-terrains. Now let's swap it back to the mud tires and see if that performance gets better. It gets a little bit better. Not a huge amount better, but, like, just enough to where we can actually make some forward momentum, you know? It's not going to be ripping through it like some mud truck, but at the same time, it is going to give you just the edge you need to get yourself out of a sticky situation, which is usually all you do need. And I gotta admit, I like the paint job. I really do like the paint job. I think they've done a really good job making this thing look really good. I wish that, oh God, whoa. I wish we had some sort of add-on in the back, but I feel like at the same time, they would be crazy to not add some support options in the back, like maybe a spare wheel or spare fuel or spare repair points or something like that. Now, I'm not going to go through that second mud lane because I kind of have a feeling that we all know how that's going to go. It's going to end with this thing being sunk very quickly, and so that's not on the list of things I would like to do with this thing at the moment. But I wanted to be able to do the other tests, and so I'm not really interested in sinking it just yet. Although I'm sure there are some of you guys out there that would love to see me sink this thing. I'm going to have to save the sinking of this thing for a little bit later on down the road. Now, let's go ahead and make our way now to the dips obstacle, and I kind of feel like it will do a pretty good job out there so long as we don't get, you know, too crazy with our speed and topple over, because toppling over is probably the worst possible thing that you could do with this truck, because once again, it's got good suspension travel, but oh crap, you got to be careful with the fine-tuned gearbox, because you will accidentally put it in reverse from time to time if you have your, like, if you're literally just leaning your right thumb on the right, you know, right stick for too long, you will just ever so slightly put it in reverse. Now, I'm impressed at how well it's crawling its way through here, though, especially for having no lockers. It's doing a really good job for a no-locker setup. Open diffs front and rear, and, I mean, no complaints from me. Definitely no complaints from me at all. Really, really good job there. Really good job. Easy. Whoa! Now let me know in the comment section down below if this is a vehicle you guys are going to find yourselves using, or at least anticipate using. And I understand if you prefer to scout with modded trucks, if you're probably just going to, like, skip over this truck. I get that completely. But then again, at the same time, if you are somebody that really likes using both mods and vanilla trucks, let me know down there in the comment section below if this is a truck that you plan on spending some proper time in, or if it's a truck that you think you're going to probably use once or twice and then sell. Now, at this point, we definitely need to do a quick repair and refuel, because we're going to go ahead and throw the highway transmission in it. And you guys know exactly why we're doing that, because we're just about to line up for the bridge jump. Now, it's interesting. Someone actually asked me in the comment section recently, why do you even do the bridge jump? Like, what's the point? It's not even, like, a realistic test. And I'm like, you know, the bridge jump became and if you guys have been around the channel for a while, you guys know the bridge jump almost became a tradition as far as testing vehicles on this channel, because we did it once, like, way back in the beginning of actually doing SnowRunner vehicle testing. And it just kind of stuck ever since then, because it's almost like, you know, we do all these other practical tests throughout the video, and then the bridge jump gives us the opportunity to literally go crazy with a vehicle and send it into a test that it really doesn't necessarily need to do, but we're going to make it do it anyway. So, building up speed and neutral, and... dude, apart from rolling over, no damage at all. Oh, man, if that tree wasn't there, we'd be able to, well, actually, oh, I was gonna say, if that tree wasn't there, we would have been able to roll it back onto its wheels with the offline winch, but unfortunately that tree was there and blocked that maneuver. But then again, I'm really surprised that the tuned custom suspension took absolutely no damage coming down. That's really impressive. Now, if you guys enjoyed this video, please do let me know your thoughts and opinions on this truck in the comments down below. It's definitely an interesting one, especially in the context of default trucks. And also, if you're new around here, make sure you click that subscribe button and turn those notifications on, and I'll see you guys next time.